Hi, Kaid, Dr. Kaid Dhariwal, one of the leading orthopedic surgeons of Pune. And thank you for being
Hi,
part of
Ravi.
Dilse. Right. So, um, Kaid, I've seen you from college, school. We've been school friends. In school, we've had our amazing routine, our PT sessions where thankfully, there was so much of activities happening unlike today. So as kids, we were really never, we were always relatively quite fit. But obviously, with time, as they say, sitting is the new smoking. So bed came in. You're a doctor, and long hours of sitting ensued post your, getting, working with hospitals and etc. And I think that's what. So what? Tell me more about where, how did this whole weight gain happen? Where did you reach in your journey with it?
So it was what typically happens with most people. You come out of school, you start going to college, and then you're exposed to eating out, you're exposed to new kinds of food, you're exposed to friends, picnics, restaurants, parties, and then you start developing your own tastes and you start as a kid, my dad would take me once a month to eat an ice cream. And that would be like an event, which would be talked about, which would be kind of, to the point when we actually go. And then we would talk about it for many days after it happened.
True.
So from that point where going out to eat an ice cream was such a rare event to a point where there were ice cream tubs in the fridge and aerated soft drinks and chocolates at just easy access everywhere in the house. So that's what happens when you kind of get into as you grow older. And then, college and residency was difficult. Residency is the time to really, I was really be done in such a short amount of time. And then you're eating canteen food, you're eating a dabba, you're not getting home cooked meals. So, and I used to always eat fast, and that eating fast became much faster in residency. It was a need of the hour. I had to finish the meal quickly so that I could get on with my work. So that was I had started eating so fast that I could boast about it. So, so it was an accumulation of bad habits, and you know, and then once college was over, residency was over, I became a surgeon. And when I started my career, at that time, there's a different kind of stress. So you're starting a career, you're starting a family. So you're worried about how things are and you want to provide, you want to give all the comforts, you think about kids, you think about their schooling, you think about all those things. And your career is also just falling in place. So that was a little stressful time. And I was in, and like many people are, I was in a lot of denial. So I was a doctor. So there was no question of somebody teaching me about health and about diet. I knew, I was supposed to know. I'm a medical guy, so obviously I know what is how to lose weight. Who can
Yeah.
teach me how to lose weight? So, but medicine, they they teach you about disease. They teach you, so doctors, the focus
Mm.
in medical training is on
Yeah.
disease. So you come into the picture when the disease has already happened. So you have blood pressure, so you go to, then the doctor is treating you, he's giving you medicine and he's giving you, so similarly with diabetes or with cancer or with heart attack. So once the heart attack happens, then the doctor, so all the training is all about what to do with disease. Unfortunately, the focus on prevention, on health, is much, much less.
Much less.
So, there was a point where, I thought a healthy diet means, and I'm a doctor. I thought a healthy diet means avoiding, just oily food, fried food, butter and ghee. So I would go to a restaurant and everybody would order butter roti, butter, and I would say, get my naan without butter. And I would feel very proud and knowledgeable.
Butter
But
roti nahi khaya.
so no, I would, no, at that time I would. So I was an absolute okay. And then I knew that I was overweight. So, but
What
I
was your
didn't think
weight?
of it as a. So I was, at that time, in about when I was finishing my residency, I was so when I was about 80. But see, when I was in school, I was you must be remembering, I was a very thin, lanky guy. Very just skin and bones. So
Just like you
I
are
was
today almost.
probably I was 55, 60 kilos in school days. So I had reached 80 at about when I was in this must be in about 2008, 2010. And then uh, I I thought, that I will, uh, when I thought about being overweight, one, I thought it was not so much, I was just slightly overweight, so it was not so much of a problem. And I'll probably, be able to manage it. And the second thing was, I didn't want to, I was not comfortable about changing anything in diet. See, food was a very comfort zone for me, and I was not mentally open to, when I thought about diet, nahi, bhuka nahi marna. So, that was the first reaction, that I'm not going to change anything in my eating habit. I will just burn the fat
Hmm.
by exercise.
Yes.
So I would try to exercise. There was a long period of time when I used to go swimming. I used to do half an hour of swimming every day. I used to try to go to the race course and I used to take walks, jogs. It's not that I was not exercising. I was trying. But because that exercise never had any support of diet, I would always fail, So there was no reduction in weight. Weight was just creeping up.
So what was the ideal weight for your height that you?
So just now, if you talk about body mass index, BMI, so at my worst time, I was about 26, 27. So that is a overweight. So above 25, BMI is overweight.
Yes.
And yeah, now, so you have to be between 20 and 25, which is normal. Okay, so I'm about 22 now. But so when when so being overweight and was one thing, but then the medical problems started.
Okay.
So in around 2013, I was diagnosed with blood pressure, hypertension. So interestingly, when that happened, my reaction was that, my mother is hypertensive, my grandmother is hypertensive. So this was going to happen. It was
Hereditary.
bound to happen. It's hereditary. And I accepted that hypertension as fate. And I
Fate.
kind of, I have to take this tablet and I have to probably take it for the rest of my life. And I didn't put any other thought into that blood pressure. So I was not questioning why I got the blood pressure. I was not questioning whether I've done something wrong. Therefore, I got the blood pressure, that I'm overweight. Therefore, I got the blood pressure. No, it was just like, okay, ये तो होना था और ये हो गया, अभी गोली खाना है. So it was like that. So that was one thing. Second, I had a problem of reflux, heartburn.
Okay.
So there was acid reflux happening.
Yeah.
So in residency, I had done a gastroscopy, and that showed an inflamed lower esophagus. There's a lot of acid, incompetent sphincter. So there's a lot of acid coming back from the stomach up into the esophagus. So that gave me, so I couldn't eat anything, any outside food, any oily food, any spicy food, and I would be popping a Pan-D or a Omaze or a Rantac or something all the time. That acid reflux also gave me a chronic cough. So what happens is the acid irritates the larynx.
Yeah.
So I was coughing throughout the year. So,
Oh.
to a point where colleagues would joke about me, they say, TB ka patient aa gaya. Because I was all the time, that acid would make me, so I was just coughing. And then I had back pain. So surgery thoda lamba chala, my back would start hurting. And so at around 2015, I had reached a point where I was, I mean, बोलने के लिए सब बोलते हैं, क्या डाइट करना है, enjoy life, what is the fun without food. And I mean, you hear
Typical.
the people will always, you meet friends and they're going to like, what are you doing? You have one life and you're not eating food and you're not doing this and you're not enjoying and things. So that was the same thing, gyan I would give everybody at that point of time. But in heart of hearts, I was not happy. I had medical issues. I was physically, I was struggling. I was not happy with the self-esteem was low in the sense that, I would never look forward to going and buying clothes because I knew that nothing is going to fit properly. So when I look in the mirror, I'm not going to like what I see. So, buying clothes was just a necessity. It was not something I would look forward to, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the situation I was in 2015. So my weight had reached 86 kilos.
Wow.
And I had these host of medical problems. And it was at that point that I thought that, there's something is wrong. Uh, I don't think I know it all. So I was open to suggestion at that time. I opened my mind to, okay, I need to learn, relearn. I need to find out what is happening, what's going wrong, where things are. And I
So you took a
was
step back and said, you know what, let's just analyze this thing. Ke ho kya raha hai?
absolutely. And that is where, most people don't want to, stop, and they continue to be in denial.
Yes. Yes.
They don't want to. You cannot change till, a whole lot of people will give you a lot of advice and they'll tell you a lot of things, but unless it comes from the inside that no, I have to do something now differently, or I have to change something, no, unless you can't, you will not change.
True.
So 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 there's an uncle of mine. His name is Salim Kaka. Kaka is his surname, is his second name.
Yeah.
Okay. He's also my Kaka, but
He's also your
his
kaka.
name is Kaka.
Salim.
So he's Mr. Salim Kaka. So he's in the US, and he had a he's about now he must be 70.
Okay.
And when he was in his 50, around 50, 55, he had a massive heart attack. And he was at that time in the same boat. He was unfit, he was obese, he had poor diet and no exercise in the works. So he had a massive heart attack, and it was almost, we had lost him. His wife is a doctor who kind of did CPR and revived him at home, and he got a new second chance. So he survived that heart attack. But then, of course, that was a turning point in his life, and he kind of then turned things around, and he became fit and he lost weight. And then I met him. He came home. He came to Pune, and he stayed with me in 2015. It was right about the time when I was, quite fed up, and I was looking for some way to change something, and some inspiration, some direction. And then he came over, and then I spent a lot of time talking to him. Like you're talking to me, I was in the same position. I was asking him, what did you do? Why did you do? What's wrong? What did you learn? What did you read? And, about his his lifestyle and his dietary. That's when I realized that it was sugar that was the problem and not the oil. So my consumption of sugar was huge. And it was not the direct sugar, I mean, it was, somebody asked me at that time, I don't eat, I would say I don't eat sweet things. I don't eat mithai and I don't like that. But, there was sugar in my tea, and then there were chocolates and ice cream and those aerated drinks and there was farsan and there was, snacks and wafers and a lot of hidden sugar everywhere. So
So I
my
like the
consumption
blog
of
you've
sugar,
written about this. You have written an interesting blog where you explained this whole connection of sugar and insulin and insulin spike and how it makes you hungry. So I'm going to
absolutely,
post that blog after this video, just in the
absolutely,
comment section,
absolutely.
so people can really understand the direct correlation of this insulin spike, which drives you more
Yes,
hungry, to
yes,
become more hungry. So interesting. I really love that perspective.
yes. So in all these discussions with Salim Kaka, he told me, come, let's, I'm going down to exercise. So I said, okay, I'll join you. So I said, what do you do? So he was doing a boot camp kind of thing at that time, 2015. And at that time, it was a new thing. Of course,
Yeah.
now it's become very common. So, the burpees and the jumping jacks and
Mm.
the mountain climber, push-ups, squats, things like that. So he had
Using
formed
your
his
body
own kind of
weight.
routine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
using your
body weight training. So at that time, he had, you know, set a routine from his personal trainer because he travels a lot. So he can't have access to a gym all the time. So he made this routine kind of tailor made, and then he would do this exercise wherever he went. So I said, I'll join you. I was 38 in 2015, around 38, and he was 65. I was little over more than half his age. So I thought to myself, I mean, old man, I'll be able to, at least keep up with him. No, probably I'll
Yeah,
do better.
yeah,
But when he started exercising and when I started joining him, when I started doing it, uh, I couldn't keep up. Uh, he would do 10 burpees and then he would immediately go into another set of exercises. And I was huffing and puffing. I was doing 3 of the 10 and I was out of breath. I could barely, start the next and he was already on to the third. And believe me, I could do about only 30% of what he did. And he was 65. And that was
wow.
like a rude shock. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I had no strength. I had no stamina. I was absolutely unfit. And then that was like, so I had already, I was open. I was kind of wanting to change. And then this happened. And I was like, that was like the final
Nail
nail
in the
in the
coffin.
coffin.
Yeah.
I said, okay, boss, अभी तो कुछ करना ही पड़े. So I started cutting down sugar as the first step. So I started uh, consciously removing sugar from everything. No sugar in tea, no sugar. I stopped eating processed food, no ice cream, chocolates. Removed everything. Before, whenever I used to travel, I used to drive my car. I would always have a packet of chips,
Acha.
and a sweet coffee. And my justification was that, it will help me stay awake so I don't
Stay
fall
away.
asleep. So that was, those kind of habits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I started cleaning up all that. So I stopped everything. And then, of course, once I started cleaning the diet, then the weight started falling. Now, when the weight started falling, the other thing I started at that time, and that cycling is my hobby. So I've been cycling since that time. So that's when I bought my cycle, which I'm still using. And I started cycling, and we would cycle with a group of friends.
Okay.
So, and that would be thrice a week. Okay, so the remaining 3 days, I would try and do this exercise which Salim Kaka had showed me. So I had taken videos of him doing the exercise, and then I would try to do the same thing. So one of my cousins who was was cycling with me, he asked me like, "What are you doing tomorrow? I mean, there's no cycling, so what are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing this exercise thing." He says, "Can I join you?" I said, "Yeah, come over." So we did it together. When we did it together, it was, see, when I was doing it alone, it was a little boring. I had to drive myself to get up and do it. The option of not doing it was very easy
Yes. It
because,
always,
only I have to be there. No, I mean, if I don't get up, chalo, aaj nahi karte, to nobody's there to question, कि तू क्यों नहीं आया. But when I started doing it, when he started coming once, two times, then I had to be there because he was going to come. And then I had to keep things interesting for him, because, so I started looking at all these exercises and seeing what we can do differently, what we can do new, how we can make it a little difficult, how we can introduce some more exercises. Then interestingly, that one cousin became four friends. They became six. Just now we have about 20 people
wow.
who slowly joined me because of word of mouth. कि ये बंदा कर रहा है, चलो. So so since 2015, we are about 20, but of the 20, about 10 are very regular. And we've been exercising together every thrice a week without, I mean, without a break from the last 5 years.
So,
And the exercise has kind of evolved. So what we used to do
obviously,
in
your
2000,
fitness level, as your fitness level is,
absolutely. So we have reached some amazing level of exercise that we can do together. And each of the guys who has been regular, my brother, there's one Fakhri, there's Khizar Bhai, there's Huzefa, these guys who have been absolutely regular, each has an individual success story now. Because, when we are together, we are discussing diet and we are discussing health and we're discussing this, like that.
so I think one of the, I think you do about close to 29, 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers cycling. And
Yeah,
you
depends
do it
on,
some.
yeah.
And recently, I not recently, but I think at some point I remember seeing a video of you doing like a fast frame thing of 5 minute plank.
Yeah.
You really intimidate the rest of us whenever you post stuff like that. And I never did any kind of plank or any of the these free weight until I, like you said, unless and until you don't have a buddy or you don't have someone motivating you. So for in my case, I had to go with a PT, a personal trainer,
Correct.
and she was the one who, so while yours was very a lot of self study, you looked at different probably from the YouTube or from people or whoever you met. And I remember you reached out to me and you said, "Yeah, tu mota ho raha hai, aaja."
Absolutely,
I
absolutely. Yeah,
think
I told you to join
yeah,
me.
yeah,
And
you told me. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday ऐसा कुछ तो आपका routine
Tuesday,
था.
Thursday, Saturday.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I remember the Tuesday part, and I said, "नहीं यार, कौन उठेगा?" 6 o'clock in the morning, I think you guys start 6:30,
Yes,
whatever.
absolutely.
And then the videos came of you doing, the incline push-ups and the frog jumps. And then when I recently, happened to meet you, and I saw, I mean, I saw you thin is one thing, but the posture that you had, that to achieve that posture, that straight is not that, I mean, it really requires this kind of dedication and, passion to, and you're right, because we can work out as much as we want. I've been working out 5 days a week, but my diet, and I keep, the moment she asked me, "Sir, आपने check किया weight?" I said, "यार देखो मैं खाने के लिए workout करता हूँ." So for me the challenge is just this, the diet part. So where I don't, I just, there's a lot of justification even for myself, like, "यार मैं cold drink नहीं पी रहा हूँ." मुझे स्वीट्स की आदत नहीं है, but it's the fried, it's the farsan, it's the sweet chai, the
Yes.
chai,
Yes. Absolutely.
and in my line in retail, when someone comes, the first thing you do is offer a cup of tea, chai pega.
Cutting.
Oh, cutting chai. So, that cutting chai, you literally, and in winters you enjoy it. So winters, 6 months, even during the rains, so you are literally having 4 or 5 cups of chai. And if you must visit now to abhi pita nahi ho, but ek cup, you must take an exception once and have this cup of chai. It is good flavor, but it is like sharbat, absolutely full of sugar.
Yes.
So that was something which was making me, I think that was the first thing I cut off, and just cutting off that and cutting off a few things helped. But I mean, bread and stuff like that, which people say that you should avoid. I not yet, not yet. I don't know what.
So, at the time when I was just started losing weight, we started watching MasterChef Australia. So, we as a family, we love food,
Yeah.
and we proudly, and I think many people will say that about themselves. They call themselves a foodie. I am a foodie,
Yes.
So don't tell me to diet. I'm a foodie. So, that was what I used to call myself, that I'm a foodie. So, I have to eat. But when I saw that MasterChef, when we were watching those episodes, they would look at the food, look at the presentation. They would take in the aroma. They would kind of when they tasted it, they would kind of actually taste it and wait a minute and kind of feel the senses and what taste is, kind of hitting the right balance. And, they would kind of sit and describe each feeling of that taste and what is making it good or what it is missing. And I mean, I was amazed at how much analysis can happen from tasting a morsel of food.
Food. Yeah.
It is that point that I realized that I am not a foodie. I was just gulping down food in quantities. That doesn't make you a foodie at all.
Victim of gluttony.
Yes. So if for to be a foodie, you don't need quantity. So I mean, people look at me now and say you lost so much of weight. I mean, you. It's not that I don't eat, or it's not that I don't eat even the things that I'm not supposed to eat. But of course, now that maturity has come as to how much I can eat and how often I can eat, and so I'm still eating everything. But I don't need that kind of quantity now to appreciate good food. And that I learned from MasterChef.
In fact, the exact opposite of that, I stopped watching MasterChef because MasterChef used to. So I start now. We have a habit of watching television while eating food. Okay, and that's the worst thing to do. I tell you, we were watching, and वो भी MasterChef देखना शुरू किया because my kids, liked watching MasterChef, and so chalo, let me connect with them. Let's something common for us to bond on. And I realized I was eating more when I was watching MasterChef. I said, यार ये बंद करना पड़ेगा मुझे तो. So I actually said, you know what, we'll watch MasterChef together, but बाद में देखेंगे. अब वो बाद में हो रहा था, तो then there were chips coming out. Then there was the nachos coming out. So I said, यार ये तो अलग ही पंगा हो रहा है. So, a show has, two different reactions from two different people.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think, you have achieved a kind of like a food nirvana where you can observe food and say, you know what, this is okay. A portion of it is good enough to satiate you. which is fantastic. But one thing people don't realize is also subconsciously the next day when you work out, it has a absolute direct impact. What you eat also impacts the way you work out. And when you work out, I'm sure you will agree on that, is there's a certain high, those, whatever they say gets released.
Yeah. Endorphins.
Endorphins get released. But there's this high that you get. And as you start off, sometimes it's difficult to start off, but once you start off and once you're in the flow of things, and you get this high. And that's, you'll do anything to get that high every day, right? So when something is in the way of the workout, automatically the body says, yeah, ye nahi chahiye. I think that's the kind of, you reach a point at some point, in your journey.
It works. It works other way also. So if you don't work out and only diet, you will even though diet is more critical, you will fail in dieting, because in the heart of hearts, we are a man thinks about profit and loss, about business. So that thought process. So when you invest time in a workout, then you have invested time, effort, money, then it is more difficult to cheat on diet. You have put in so much of hard work, and you know that if you don't diet, it's all going to go down the drain. So a person who is working out is more likely to stick to a diet than a person who is just dieting.
Yeah, you're more invested.
Yes, even though the diet, the exercise may or may not help that much to lose the weight, but it will keep you stuck to the diet.
Yeah. I've noticed that. So quickly, I know it's, even though it's Sunday, you have to spend time with your family because there's no holiday for you. If you could just spell out or just give some, few exercises that have really worked for you, something that, exercises. I know cycling is something that you do, very passionately.
So, before that, I just like to share, I think this is very, very important.
Yeah.
So when I started losing weight, like I told you that I was diagnosed with blood pressure and I was taking this medicine, and I had never ever imagined that I could get rid of this problem. I mean, it never even occurred to me, it never came across my mind. So I was taking the blood pressure pills, and I started, so when I lost about 12 kilos, I started getting blackouts.
Yeah.
So it's known as postural hypotension. So when I used to stand up, my BP would, so everybody faces that, but the body kind of has checks in place and you will not get a blackout. But so what had happened was that because of the weight loss, my blood pressure had started becoming normal. And then I was taking the blood pressure medicine, so my BP was following below normal. And that is why I was facing the blackouts. So even the physicians that I met in Pune, and I told them, the ones I routinely went to get my blood pressure medicine, they couldn't figure it out. They were saying you're dehydrated, you are, not drinking enough water, this, that. It was my friend, he's a batchmate from BJ Medical. He's a physician, an intensive care specialist, Dr. Vikram Dalvi. He practices in Goa.
Mm-hmm.
So he's also an avid cyclist, much more than me.
Okay.
Cycling is his one and only passion. So I will always interact with him, about cycling and when I had to buy a new bike and this and that, and also about our fitness and diet and things like that. So I spoke to him, I said, look, I'm facing all these blackout issues. And he said, how much weight have you lost? He said, I lost about 12 kilos. He said, you stop your blood pressure medicine. So he who told me that your blood pressure is now. So when that happened, then I said, okay, boss, this BP thing was not, it was not fate. I was doing something wrong. I was unhealthy. I was eating wrong. I was not exercising, I had an unhealthy lifestyle, and maybe that was more important in bringing on this blood pressure problem than hereditary and other things which I had attributed. And I also realized that this disease is reversible. So since 2015 till now, I am off blood pressure medicine.
Super.
Okay. Now, if this is true for blood pressure, then is it true for diabetes? Is it true for heart disease? And you know what? It is.
It is.
Okay, so most often a person will get a lifestyle illness because of lifestyle. That's why they're called lifestyle illness. No, so diabetes, heart disease, and so like that. So, so when I talk about so let's see. So I did all this analysis, I did all the reading, and I did all the research. So I like to kind of simplify things. You know? So it is easy, like they say, and it takes a smart person to simplify, and it takes an idiot to complicate.
Complicate.
So my aim was always that, how simple can I make this to understand, for people to understand about. So it boils down to two things. Okay, so the difference between being healthy and happy and being sick and miserable. See, if you're sick, you can't be happy. Everybody has to agree with that. Okay, and many people, even our friends, you, me, many people we know, if you ask them, हाँ तो बुढ़ापे में diabetes तो होना ही है. They're already planned. They already have savings and they have Mediclaim, and I know I'm going to get a heart attack. I know I'm going to. So, if you don't want that, if you want that in my old age, I am healthy and therefore I'll be happy. It boils down to two things. Okay. One is hunger. Okay, so what I wrote.
Yeah.
So when you talk about diet, somebody tells you, तुझे diet करना है. The first fear that hits you is, अरे यार, I don't want to, भूखा नहीं मरना.
भूखा नहीं
Diet नहीं करना है because, you're saying that I am going to feel hungry if I diet. So there is a negative emotion attached to dieting, which puts people off. And they don't want to do it. Okay, so
it's a very typical generalized,
yes, because hunger is a very
mindset,
basic raw instinct.
Yeah.
Once
I mean the word dieting, because you have changed the definition of, or rather the way of dieting. I mean, dieting does not mean giving up on food.
Absolutely. So if I can control hunger, how do you look at it in a positive way? So if I eat, so because again, everybody will assume that you feel hungry because your body is requiring nutrition or fuel, but that's not true. You are hungry just now most often because what you ate in the last meal.
Yeah.
Because there are certain types of food which will make you hungry.
Interesting.
So this is very important. So now I'm going to look at diet as how or what to eat now, so I'm not hungry in my next meal. Now this is a very positive way of looking at food, because now you're not fighting food. You're trying to find a harmony. So I'm going to eat something now, and then I'm not going to be hungry when so I'm going to eat something for breakfast, and then I'm not going to be hungry for lunch. And if I'm not hungry, then it's easy, because then I can decide and choose how much I want to eat, what I want to eat. It's easy. You cannot tell a hungry man to diet. He'll tell you, please go to hell. I'm hungry just now, just let me eat, So you have to find, so you can do this experiment yourself. You can, of course, read and you can find out what good food and what bad food and this and that. But you can even try it on yourself. Okay, let's eat this today. Or if you end up being hungry at lunch, you can try to analyze that what did you have for breakfast or what did you have for dinner, and try and see, okay, this kind of food if I eat, I get hungry. So that way, and the reverse is true. So what happens? Why people are unable to lose weight? Because they are in a vicious cycle. So they eat wrong kinds of food, and then they eat a lot of it, and then they are all the time hungry. So I mean, if you eat chips and if you eat biscuits and if you eat processed food, you're going to be hungry all the time. So I mean, you're eating so much and you're still not able to satisfy yourself. So that's what sugars do.
Right.
So you're just in a vicious cycle of hunger and eating and hunger, and it's so difficult to get out.
So this is something which is, you're right, a very important point. Most of us really don't bother. अभी भूख लगा है, सामने जो आया, if you see chips, you see biscuits,
Absolutely.
you see bakery products, you see what have you, घर पे कुछ बनाया है, तला हुआ है, जो भी है, bread है, butter है. So
Absolutely.
it's, and you've kept it really nice and open-ended that each one of us is different. So we need to analyze what works for you, what may work for me, may not work for you. So
Correct.
you sit down with yourself at some point of time and kind of just look back and say, you know what, if I eat this in this quantity, so you kind of change the whole mindset or dimension of the word dieting.
Yes.
Bhuka mat raho, khao, but eat the right stuff. And
So that you should never be hungry.
Don't be hungry.
If you eat the right stuff, you will not be hungry.
And I think
And
each
also,
one,
and what happened? Okay, so then and this knowledge is very important about this hunger cycle, because what happens is sometimes you have a cheat meal. Everybody will have a day when they go out and eat. अभी बहुत diet कर लिया, वो मुझे ice cream चाहिए, ice cream खा लिया, चलो. Even if you take diets like a keto diet or something, they have a cheat meal. So you're going to have sometimes you have a bad day and you just kind of lost your control and you just ate a lot of food. That's absolutely fine. That is not a problem at all. But you then have to be able to predict that tomorrow I'm going to be hungry. When you have this knowledge, then it is easier for you because you're mentally prepared. So it's easier for you to control that hunger or to manage it, as against if you didn't know, and then you will suddenly face this hunger and you wonder what happened, why am I hungry? Then you're going to justify, oh, I did this workout, my muscles are growing stronger. That's why I'm hungry. And then you eat a lot of food again. So you can easily get back into that vicious rut. So your hunger is, so the focus should change. Your dieting is not about being hungry. Dieting is about eating in a way that you don't become hungry.
So at the core, I think, another takeaway that we can, sort of get from this is like, in our conversation, what I was saying, I've seen a lot of people, even I have been a victim of that, is, like you rightly said, the focus. So where is it emanating from? Hunger, one is a genuine body hunger, which you need food to survive. You need food for its nutrients and various things. But one is a very psychological thing where food is probably sort of
Comfort
giving
zone.
a comfort or fulfilling a different need or fulfilling a different sort of psychological thing. Stress eating, or
stress reaction.
यार कि कोई problem है कि तो कुछ खाते हुए it just anchors कि when I'm eating I feel better. So you really need to break the cycle. You need to break this pattern, and it's so important to just step back and really look at what one is doing, and each one is different. We all are different, and we need to sort of.
I'll just interrupt you here because I'll forget.
Yeah.
So the other thing about hunger management, so that is what I told you was about one meal before. Now the other thing is in the ongoing meal. So you're hungry and you're eating. So your ability to feel satisfaction or satiety from the food you're eating is directly proportional to how slow you're eating. So the slower you eat, the less food you will need to achieve the same level of satiety.
True.
A person who eats 4 chapatis, if I make him eat 1 chapati in double the time he took to eat those 4 chapatis, he will not want the remaining 3.
I get
And
what you're
it can,
saying.
this, it's the slower, I mean, you can come down to half also. You really have to go slow. If you don't change anything in your diet, you just start eating slowly, you start losing weight.
So on this note, there's a very interesting, conversation I had with a 60 plus Parsi gentleman, and he's again a very he's very conscious about his body, and he's still what he does at his age was, I mean, very similar, with Salim ji. So the kind of workout that he does, the regime, he's very focused on the food he eats. So I say, masti mein bola, he said, so at that time I had I was far more plump than I am today. So he used to look at me, he said, you know what, eat slowly. He said, the slowest message that goes to the brain is from your stomach, that you're full.
Absolutely.
So he said, just eat
Absolutely.
slowly, and automatically at a point, the messages, he said, take a break. तेरा कितना है, तू 4 चपाटी खा रहा है, similar example, 4 चपाटी खा रहा है, you want to reduce it to 2 first, 2 खा, but eat those 2 chapatis slowly and allow your body to kind of, enjoy the meal. Don't be in a hurry to eat,
Absolutely.
and just wait and take a small break in the middle, pani pee le. And just that's the message. By the time the message goes across, and there's a feeling of satiation that comes into the
Absolutely.
system. And I like this other thing that you pointed out, and very few people really have noticed that this is not fate. Don't be fatalistic with food. It's time to break the pattern and, step back, take charge, take control. And diabetes, hypertension, whatever, it's not necessary that it's going to come back to you. So thanks, Kaid. I think we have lost connection. And on that note, I'm going to connect with you offline. But thank you for joining me on Dil Se.